You heard the diverse range of opinion. It is Super Tuesday. Social media is down. What do you think will happen tonight in the context of AI and misinformation?
Thank you so much for that question, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. AI is certainly a new topic that we're talking about. We're talking and tracking 5 cybersecurity threats as we move into the general election, and AI is the new kid on the block, if you will. We're not seeing a lot of AI activity right now, but it certainly has the potential to increase misinformation campaigns. It will amplify or magnify the risk that already exists out there.
What your role does at the moment is you're offering tools, no-cost tools, it might be said, training to those who are out there in the field trying to ensure that this isn't spreading and that their elections have been run fairly. But also, you're providing sort of effective remediation if ever there are incidents. Talk us through what your go-to is in a response to any sort of sudden sweeping of a misinformation outbreak that might or might not occur as people head to polls.
Well, we've been talking with election officials over the last year about the possibility of seeing generative AI used to disrupt elections. And we're reminding election officials that they need to collaborate with us and share information so we can pass that information on to other election officials so they might know what's coming in their states. We also remind them probably the most powerful thing they can do is to educate voters, citizens, candidates, and even their local media. So when people see something that they think might not be exactly right, they know where to go to get accurate information, and that is with the state or local election officials. So it's very important that they establish themselves as the trusted source of information. And that even goes for training their staff. Staff in election offices, they work long hours, they get very tired, so they're more apt to click on something, and they bring in a lot of seasonal workers. So those seasonal workers may or may not have had any training, so it's important to make sure they're trained and ready to go as well. And of course, using good cyber hygiene, passwords, strong passwords, turning on multi-factor authentication on every application they can, and then using our no-cost tools to protect their network, their critical networks.
Marci, I think cyber hygiene's a new one for us on this show. Is there any proof that we're better prepared for this year's election than we were in 2020?
Well, the EISAC just turned 6 years old, and for the last 6 years, we've been working with election officials across the country and in the territories to raise their cybersecurity posture. We've deployed lots of solutions, cybersecurity solutions, that would harden their defenses. And we've also provided a lot of training, and we're talking to election officials in terms they understand. We're former election officials in many cases. So we're breaking down those barriers and making sure that they understand that cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility and that they need to take action. So I believe, yes, we are better prepared. But cybersecurity is a long-term game. It is not a one and done. It's constantly changing. And as you started the conversation with generative AI, that's the new thing that we are trying to build defenses around and prepare elections to deal with, election officials to deal with, especially as we move into the general election.